Hello! We are Jenny Diethelm and Alma Höing, and we are from Switzerland in our second year of studying landscape architecture at the Ost in Rapperswil, right on the shores of Lake Zurich. We both grew up in a green, nature-rich environment, which gave us a deep appreciation for the value of accessible natural spaces in everyday life. This background strongly influences our design approach. In all our academic projects so far, we have placed a strong emphasis on biodiversity, with special attention to creating habitats for animals and integrating ecological principles into our concepts. For our project, we chose Sechseleitenplatz in Zurich, one of the few large undeveloped areas in the city that heat up considerably in summer. Our aim was to completely unseal and green the square. We then analyzed which paths and connections should be retained in order to design the development in a sensible way. These considerations led to the zoning of the square, designed to ensure that the individual areas function harmoniously with each other and do not compete with each other. We have paid particular attention to our selected flagship species and their habitats in order to ensure an ecological, valuable and site-appropriate design.
In our design, we specifically applied sustainable strategies. A central element was the unsealing of the area to enable nature processes such as the infiltration of rainwater. In addition, we integrate water retention measures to retain rainwater on site and make it usable. For the planting, we opted for climate-resistant tree species that can withstand to increasing heat stress. The issue of lighting pollution was also important to us. Lighting was deliberately reduced to a minimum, only as much as necessary to ensure safety. In addition, sustainable materials such as wood were used in the design to improve the ecological balance of the project.
A central concern of our project was the preservation of open, multifunctional spaces that can be used flexibly by the population. Sechseleitenplatz should not only be ecologically upgraded, but also remain a space for social encounters, cultural events and everyday activities. It was important to us, despite the greening and zoning, there should be still enough space for people to use freely. This creates squares that fulfill both ecological and social functions, places that are lively, changeable and interactive, and fit into everyday urban life in the long term.
We were aware that Sechseleitenplatz has great culture and emotional significance for many Zurich residents. That's why we took a close look at how our design would be received by the city population. As we are unsealing and greening a large part of the area, the previous use of the square is changing, which may immediately cause irritation. Nevertheless, we are convinced that the many benefits, such as cooling on hot days, mental well-being and recreational spaces, will outweigh disadvantage in the long term and open up a new livable perspective and public space for people.
Small-scale green spaces play a crucial role in the future of our cities. They help to cool the microclimate, promote the infiltration of rainwater, and have a demonstrably positive effect on people's mental health and well-being. At the same time, they create important habitats and stepping stones for the networking of flora and fauna. especially in times of increasing urban density. Such green islands are essential, especially when many of them are distributed throughout the city. An effective, fine-meshed ecological network is created that benefits both people and nature.
Our advice to future participants in ecological or urban design competition is to approach each project with a clear understanding of the local context, socially, ecologically, and culturally. Take time to analyze not just the physical site, but also how people interact with it, what it means to them, and how it could involve in changing climate. It's also important to balance vision and realism. Be creative and bold with your ideas, but make sure they are technically and socially feasible. Use your academic knowledge as a foundation, but don't be afraid to question norms and propose innovations, forward-thinking solutions.
Finally, always consider the long-term impact of your design. Not just what it looks like when it's built, but how it will function and be experienced over time. Designs that are ecologically sound, socially inclusive, and adaptable will resonate most, both juries and the public.
Bye!
Bye!